Hi, good morning. This morning, this is the second Facebook Live, Monday's Facebook Live, and I would like to talk a little bit about Google, just to let you understand how it works, because we are talking about search engine optimization, so we are basically trying to get the website to be found better than anybody else's on Google. But sometimes it's not so easy to understand how it works if we don't really know what it is made by. So basically, we can synthesize and simplify it, thinking of Google as if it's made by three main parts. So you can consider that we have the crawler or the bot or spider. There is an index and there is an algorithm. The crawlers are those tiny little bots, spiders, which are constantly, continuously crawling the web to find information. How do they go around the web? They follow a net that is made of links. So one of the reasons why it is so important to have links to your site and from the various pages of your site is that these are the routes, the ways that these crawlers must follow. So we need to get them throughout and to access all the parts of the site and from a site to another, to allow them to get as easy as possible to your site from other sites, so getting links from other sites, and this is something that's got even a further importance regarding the algorithm, which we will talk about later. So yes, you can imagine those tiny spiders or crawlers going around the web, following these streets, links from a web page to another. And what are they programmed to do? They are programmed to search for information in some specific parts of the site. Because they don't see sites as we do with all the photos and the images, the information. They just see the technical parts of them. So they see strings of code, they see a lot of technical details, and they are programmed to find what the site is about and to understand what it contains in some particular part. These parts are, for example, the title of the pages, the headers, the content of the page, the URL or slug, which is what comes after your domain name. If your domain name is xyz.com slash something, this slash something is the slug of your page. So in these places, they will look for information and they will save all the information they gather in a massive, huge, immense database, which is called the index. And in this index, they write what each website is about in those parts. So this is, for example, one of the reasons why you should be very, very aware of which information you write in those very important parts, like, for example, headers, subheaders, H1, H2. Do you use them? Do you know what they are? They are basically like when you're reading a book, you have the title, the subtitles, and all the content, and not using them is a wasted opportunity, because this is one of the places where the crawlers will be looking for information, and you need to provide information to them so that they understand your site is relevant for what you do. But also you need to provide the right information in those places, because if you have a page which is about something, you want that thing you want to be found for in all those important parts in which the crawlers will be looking for. So you want to have that keyword, key phrase in those parts, in the title, in the headers, in the content, so that they might be able to understand that the page is about that, and to index it in the right way. Those crawlers keep coming and checking the pages to verify if anything has changed over time. And it is important to understand what this means, because changing something on a site is so important if you get to see that this will make the difference in being added some of your content in the index in the right way, because it means that the site is active, it's being refreshed. Like, for example, when you're changing something that you used to write some time ago, it was an old post, but it is still important. You read it again, you see it still has got some important information. In this case, you should be refreshing this content very often, every so often, checking that the information is still updated, is still up to date, updating it if something is not correct anymore, adding the right information on it, adding something, editing something, making sure that the article is fresh and it's still valid, it's still providing important information even nowadays. It still can be very useful even if you've written it, for example, 2 years ago. It's still very important. You still want to keep it, for example. Then it's just a matter of changing it, refreshing, republishing it, and it will be a signal for Google that the site is kept active and live, and that there is a constant attention to the content, and making sure that it's still providing value to the user. And also for the user, because there is really nothing as bad as checking something and finding it is old, it's containing information which is 3 years ago and nobody's been checking it. I know it might happen if you've got a plenty of content, but you should really pay attention and refresh it every now and then. And adding new things is one of the other ways you can have for being spotted as you're changing something on a site, because you're actually adding some new stuff, new pages, new blog posts. So this is one of the importance of creating new content, because there is so much you can tell about, you can write about. So if you can add pieces of content frequently, regularly, so that they answer what, for example, your users have been asking you for, you realize that something is being asked to you very often, that there is the need of information to acquire some kind of knowledge, then in this case it's useful for you to create new material about that, and you're actually changing parts of your site, you're actually adding something to your site, and it will be written in the index as well, with all the information you placed in the right places, in the title, in the titles, in the content, in the URL, always making sure that every page, every post is focusing one main focus keywords and all the related keywords which provide strength to the semantic importance of that page. It's called latent semantic index. It is something that's strengthening the importance of the meaning of a page in that context. You can imagine, for example, if you find the word cars, you might not know if you are talking about the cars that you are actually driving or the Pixar movie Cars. How do you understand if it is about the cars that you drive or the Pixar movie Cars? You understand it by the general meaning which is around that word, cars. There is a big number of other words in the page, and that's the context which is around them. The latent semantic which is around that page. The other words on the page, they must reinforce, they must strengthen the meaning of that keyword so that it will be more relevant and to understand that what the page is about. So when you remember to focus to one page or one post on one keyword, the focus keyword, you still need to keep in your mind that you need other related keywords, not to let the keyword be alone and lonely. You need to put it in good company with other friends, with other helping keywords to make it feel stronger and have better results and better relevance for the page. Now, once you've done this, once your page has been crawled and it's been written in the index, now, do you think this is enough for it to be found and to appear and to be visited? Unfortunately, it's not, because basically there are billions of competitors. There are so many other websites wanting to rank for the same keywords, doing the same thing. So many other websites for the same kind of thing. And you will have to fight your competition around so many others that you need to be better than them. Because once there are so many other sites trying to appear amongst millions of competitors, what needs to be found is which are the best 10 ones to be placed on one first page. And you can understand how important it is to be on that first page. If you think, for example, that of the all total traffic, average monthly traffic, one search, there is 1/3 which goes straight to the first result on the first page. Then the 17% gets on the second result. And the overall 90% of the traffic volume goes on the first page. So you might understand that really there is no other traffic left for the other keywords, for the other websites which appear on the other side. So there is just a 10%, which is very, very, very low. It only happens when, hi Sarah, when somebody does not find anything interesting on the first page, or you want for any reason to go on and further explore and get to see the further pages. But generally, we are just enough with the results that we find on the first page. We just really don't need to search any further. So what is the very, very tough job that the algorithm must do is to understand which are the best 10 results to show on the first page amongst the billions of competitor sites. And that is something that is decided by the algorithm, which is a secret algorithm, and it's very, very complex because it needs to take into consideration really a big number of factors. Most of these factors are actually very known. It is secret, but it's not obscure, because by doing tests and every time there is some kind of update or upgrade in the algorithm, it gets disclosed what's been changed. Hi, Sarah. It is a challenge on first for paid for. Yeah, it is because there is all the first box of the AdWords, and you know that's a business machine, Google, so they need to get their advertising on spot. And the snippet of the pages are even different because there is not just the space for the AdWords, but there is also the space for the rich snippets, for the featured snippets, the open graph. So we really need to be there and to try and get, if possible, a prominent position with a snippet which is different from the others, which might make people curious to open us better than anybody else's. Even if we are on first page, sometimes it's just not enough. We need to actually get from an impression to a click. That CTR difference, which is made by being more prominent, more interesting. Our snippet needs to be to make people curious and to really want to open it, because it's making the difference in people finding us or finding anybody else. At the end, it's a business opportunity we are fighting for. What is in this algorithm is actually known. It's not obscure because some of these things have become very obvious over the time. Some have been changed. For example, it used to be much more important the number of links pointing to a site. Now it is more important the quality of links pointing to a site. Still, it is very important the relevance of a site to certain kind of subject you want to rank for. But it is different because it used to be more keyword sensitive, so it used to be very important keyword repetition on the page, the keyword ratio, the actual exact match. Now it is not so important anymore, but it is important. It is getting more and more important now. The user experience, for example, thanks to the machine learning algorithm, the rank brain. Now Google is actually able to determine how is the user experience on your page and to realize if the user is having a good time on your site, if they are actually enjoying the content on it, if you keep browsing, if they keep reading, if they go to the other pages, or if they just close the site and bounce away, which is a bad user experience. Same as a slow loading page speed. This is another bad user experience. This is something that we know, and they've been saying it very clearly that it is a ranking criterion, because they've been telling, for example, that a page which is slow in loading will not help your customers. And you should consider that Google's main mission is to provide the best quality user experience to their users. So if it is pleasant and good to use your site, it means that it's also fast in loading, it's got a secure connection, Yet the links are still important in this algorithm because they are a token of authority to your site. So if there are many websites linking to yours, and if they're linking to it in the right way, I'm talking not the old school backlinks acquisition made by directories and just submitting sites and getting links out of that. I'm talking about good, high quality editorial links that you acquire by establishing real connections with people and having real content around that link and having a real experience from people reading that and getting to your site and actually having traffic from that site. Those are all very good links which tell to Google that yes, this is a good site. This is a site that you want to rank better than others, because then in the end this is what the algorithm is about. It is about getting to understand which are the best 10 sites of all the billions and billions existing, which they want to rank better than the others. And when it is about getting to understand this, you know, it is always something that you are fighting with other sites and trying to outrank them, making a better quality content, making a better user experience to the people which are browsing your pages, showing Google that your site is really worth being displayed because it's kept up to date, it's kept full of content and important things that your users appreciate. And over time, this is what makes the difference. Having to show that your site can provide a better quality than the others. So these were the three elements that Google is made for: the crawlers or bots or spiders, the index, this massive, huge, big database in which everything is saved and all the important parts of your site are written, what they are about, and every time there is something that's changed, they keep updating it. And then there is this complex algorithm which decides actually what will be appearing better than all the others, billions of competitors around. So this is what today's Facebook Live was about. How does Google work? I hope you appreciated it. In case you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Just write your questions in the comments, or you can pop me an email anytime. I'm very, very happy to help and keep discussing. Thank you, Sarah, for being part. Thank you for all of you. We'll see it later in a replay, and see you next Monday. Bye-bye.